He has a 1-1 count. That one's struck high. Left side. That one's going. That's out of here afterwards. You have got to be kidding me. Fireworks. And here you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another edition, High and Tight, as we get to dive into the awards part of the season. Unfortunately, the season's over, done with, no more, not as much game action anyway. But with that, it's our time to give out some awards. And we broke out a little bit, broke out some more awards. As you can see right there, we go through our all-state teams and our underclassmen teams, and we've also expanded there. Why? Because there are so many guys that excel, and we just wanted to hit as many as we could, including Cy Young, Silver Slugger, Underclassmen of the Year, surprise teams. There are plenty of those, right? Batting title, Home Run King, Coach of the Year, and Mr. IAbaseball. That's the slate. That's all the awards that we have ready and rocking here. And so as once again, myself, Andrew Brown, and Cade Nissen joining us as we get to do this. And you know what? It's unfortunate that we're done with the season, but it's good that we kind of get to honor some of these guys. So it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, no doubt. State tournament lived up to the hype. I don't know about you. Merchants Park was on fire all week. Tons of good games across that. Sioux City looked like a great spot. And Andrew, you got a fun week. I mean, if you're tuning in this now, you can check out the All-Star showcase, right, Andrew? You kind of want to talk about that quick?
Yes, of course. That was exactly where I wanted to go, because we do have the Senior All-Star Series coming on up, and that is in Ankeny for 2 locations, in Urbandale for the final day. 2 games each day, and we get from large schools to small schools, large schools east, west, and the same with small schools and so forth. So it is really cool. You get to see these seniors in their final high school days as a high schooler, right? Final games as a high schooler, final days in those uniforms. Really kind of cool to see all that come down. It's a bittersweet moment, but you get you get a lot of good baseball there. So you can check us out on the streams. Thursday, 5 p.m. we'll be there, and then of course 10 a.m. the next 2 days we'll be there catching some good games, streaming those, and it'll be a fun one. So come on down. IE Sports YouTube is the place to be for that. And we'll look to see you there. And hey, give us your comments and thoughts and more. We'd love to hear from you. But again, that is Thursday at 5 at 10 a.m. for Friday and Saturday.
Perfect. Well, I say we get right into it, Andrew. We'll show Class 1A. This is kind of how we'll do it. We're going to show all the awards at once, kind of talk through them, big notes, and we're going to save Mr. IAbaseball for the end, because that is the guy in each class. I mean, I think this is our 3rd year of giving away Mr. IAbaseball, so we're starting to get to that point where it's kind of cool to have a little history behind this. So 3rd year of Mr. IAbaseball, and the 1st year for some of these awards that we're hopefully going to keep going. So Andrew, Class 1A, just showed it up. Ton of guys standing out. I mean, these are your 1st, 2nd, and 3rd teams that you're kind of seeing at the top here, and then your underclassmen teams over here on the bottom. Obviously, silver is your 2nd team, bronze is your 3rd team, and then gold with your 1st team. So a lot of guys here, and with the awards, first off, I got to talk about Coach Schweisau in St. Ansgar. Oops, I'm making Andrew small there accidentally. Whoops. But Coach Schweisau of St. Ansgar, I tell you what, preseason number 2, and they pretty much hung with it all year, pretty consistently a top 5 team. And we know that St. Ansgar always has the capability, just hasn't been there the last few years. And this year it kind of all clicked. I mean, I was very impressed watching Jace pitch. I had a ton of fun watching St. Ansgar play, brought a lot of energy, played a lot of close games, ton of fun. So St. Ansgar really stood out to me, and Coach Schweisau deserving of our Coach of the Year. Andrew, what do you see here?
Man, a lot of the right pieces just fell into place, right? And gosh, it's so hard, and our rankers do such a great job. I'll say that. It is hard because these teams, you can fit 17 guys into those 3 spots. So but with this, it kind of looks like it was easy. Trey White, I mean, he had a fantastic year, and he truly is. I think mine was no doubter to make it there. But yeah, I got to say, surprise team of the year, Hillcrest Academy.
Yeah.
Uh, they did, and you and I have been on them for several years, but even this time they went above and beyond because you go over the last 5-10 years, you don't have many 8-1 battles that end up in favor of the 8 seed. They came out and won that one over a team that was just dominant this year. So I think that was the biggest thing that kind of surprised me there. They were playing with house money all the way up until they bowed out, but you got to give them a lot of credit.
Yeah, no, I mean, especially with 1A in the pitching category. I mean, we see some dominant 1A pitchers. I mean, you make it on this list, first, second, or third team. It proves that you're a dude, and we've got some dudes on this list across the slate. Like I said, I'm gonna jump on you there. Trey White, ton of fun to watch him. I've been able to watch him play. He's gonna exit his career as the all-time doubles leader in a season. We're gonna see how long that record lasts. Something tells me it's gonna be a little bit before someone hits what I think he finished with 35 in a year. That's impressive. But kind of looking forward to Mr. IA Baseball. We've got a few guys ready. I mean, Cal Hayden wins Cy Young. He was a finalist. Holman was a finalist. Beacon was a finalist. Maston was a finalist. So we're gonna see as we run through these awards, kind of who's gonna take that crown. Angie, you ready for 2A?
Oh yeah, let's get to it. And
All right.
boy, 2A, I know that you got to see a lot of these guys up close. You know what, man? I got to give credit here to JD Schneider out of Spirit Lake. I got to see him a little bit, and boy, it's just exciting. He that's the energy you want to bring to it. Absolutely love that, and you know what? He deserves a lot of the credit. Went through a pretty good schedule, I would say. But I think one of the biggest storylines that one of, and I'm sure you'll get to several more here, Cade, but uh, Jarboski out of Grundy Center for me, it presents. He's a guy that truly I dog on ERA because it can be ballooned really easy. It can be dwarfed very easily. But I mean, the guy went out and just balled, and he went there and truly earned that ERA. It was not a mistake. He went out there and did it. And for so long, it is, guys work all year to get where he ended up. And I think you just got to showcase, you got to highlight it where highlighting is due. He did a phenomenal job. And so he was, again, one of the bigger storylines for me. But of the pitchers list, I don't think there's a single miss there, not by far. There's a lot of great pitchers out there, but I truly believe these are 9 of the best that have pitched here in 2A.
I think the thing that sticks out to me, Andrew, in 2A, you look at the underclassmen teams and you look at the all state, the all IA baseball teams, you could call it. There's a lot of names on both of those lists, and that just points to how dominant the youth are in Class 2A. And it's unlike even in 1A. I mean, you would think 1A would have more dominant freshmen,
Yeah.
sophomores, but that's not the case. 2A, I mean, Phillips is on both lists, DeSoto's on both lists, Lutt, Bingham. I mean, look at the pitchers. You got a lot of guys on both those lists, and this is 2A is a tough class to stand out in because you've got a lot of stars here, and obviously Garrett Lutt
Mhm.
taking home the Cy Young, deserving of that. Schneider's Silver Slugger, underclassman of the year is going to Lutt. I mean, he's still got more years left than Underwood, which is crazy to think about. But I mean, 2A is a ton of fun. I got to give a shout out though to JJ Phillips. He's been one of my favorite players for a while in the state of Iowa, and the dude balled out at the state tournament. He had 2 home runs in his 3 games, and he hit one off the wall. So he was really close to having 3 home runs in just as many games. And at Merchants Park, that's tough. And in a Pleasantville lineup that, I mean, as we talk about, is all going to be back next year. He
Mhm.
might be one of the more scary pieces, and that's a lot considering what they have coming back. But he was a ton of fun to watch, and I don't know, the whole 2A field in general was a ton of fun, and I mean, Pleasantville is going to have the target on their back, and I mean, it's go time for them again, and they're going to be a ton of fun to watch. But how about Cascade, Andrew? Surprise team of the
Yeah.
year. It seems
Wow.
like every few years they just are in the semifinals. They're in the semifinals again, and here we go. They make it to the quarters this year is in kind of an unexpected way.
Well, and gosh, it's just like you see the Yankees and the Dodgers in the postseason, you think that's natural, right? For me, Cascade deep in the postseason just seems natural. It seems
Yeah.
like it's what's supposed to happen. They have constantly been at it, and their path was they had to work through it. I mean,
Yeah.
Regina out of the gate, they go ahead and take them down, and they just methodically don't go down the line. I think that was absolutely stellar. And then, yeah, you mentioned Pleasantville coming back. How about Luke Adrian? The guy comes in, and Coach Card was instrumental in making that program what it was. And it's really hard to come in and have the success that he did after you follow a legendary coach. So you got to give a lot of credit to him. I know he had a ton of great players, but you know what? He helped them reach the best level that they could. So I think truly, I a lot of great coaches deserving, but I don't know if anyone supersedes Adrian at this point.
I agree. A lot of talking points in 2A, Andrew. I'll let you kick off 3A with what you're
Yeah.
thinking here. I mean, we got a lot of variety in names here, which I think is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, in a year in which we have all four classes have first time state champions, I thought that was a really cool thing when you look down and you get a lot of guys that are on this list that maybe weren't in the state tournament. And I think that just bodes well because in the end, postseason does come into play, but it's not the overall biggest thing here. I think pitching really spoke wonders this year. And, I mean, you take a look at it, there are guys both in the all state team and the underclassmen team that were just putting out there, putting a lot of good numbers and a lot of teams that are developing and going the right way. Clear Lake's continuing on their strong back, their comeback here. Creston didn't have the greatest season, but they still had some guys that really balled out here. But then uh, you got to give more credit to the lineage that Heelan has. Coach Osborne in his farewell season, he had a phenomenal year, and was in the running for our coach of the year, I believe. And so that was absolutely stellar. And it's because they lose 7 guys offensively from last year, nearly that on the defensive and pitching side of things. And there were truly, I don't know if there's very many in the state that believed that Heelan was capable of another state tournament run, and they just made it happen. They were extremely fun to watch, but they found ways to win. Nearly a quarter of their games are 2-3 runs or less. So they won. They found a way to win those games, and they again that things could have turned out a little bit differently if one throw would have gone a little different for them. So uh, again, got to give credit there, but also got to give the shout out to Pella. Last year they were a surprise team. This year they started number 2 in the polls, and they were a perennial top 5, top 16, and they stayed that way, and they stood their ground against Wallert, and which was a really fun game to watch. So I think however you dish it up, the 2 team, and again 3A I believe was the only 1 versus 2 seed of the entire tournament field. So you truly had, I felt, the 2 best teams make it to the title game, and we got to see something there. But yeah, so I think that there's the variety there is something, and kind of different from 2A is that there's, I think initially why we wanted to start the underclassmen teams is because you get into the 3A, 4A, and there's not as many guys from that underclassmen that can supersede some of the upperclassmen, especially the seniors. And we thought, you know what? Why not highlight those guys? They had phenomenal years. We got to get them their own category, and we made that, and here it is. But I mean, you got to give a shout out. Dawson Petchy from Central DeWitt had a phenomenal year, but under the likes of Anderson Sherm, Noah Davies, Brady Kaufman, would have been hard to make that list. And so I think that you got to earn it. And so again, so many storylines to go in here, but I think honestly that this was a season that was probably the most exciting to watch in 3A.
I mean, someone on this call predicted the 3A state title to a T. I don't know. I don't think it was me, but
Who could it have been?
I was thinking back. I'm like, oh boy, I think Andrew called that. That's impressive. But no, I mean, when I look at 3A, when you think about your best players, typically you think, shortstop, but boy, the 3A outfield is
Gosh.
juiced. Like that is a tough list to get on. If you're on that 3A outfield list, you're a dude. I mean, Fody
Mm.
Regapo's third team. I mean, that's a Division 1 baseball player right there, and that just speaks to how deep this 3A outfield is. You got Kettler second team, Kirsch, Erickson. I mean, that first team outfield is full of stars with Owen, Specht, and McCarty. So that's what stands
Mhm.
out to me when I look at Class 3A is just how deep that outfield list is, Andrew.
Yeah, and you know what? The 3A ranker, I know that when boiling it down, I bet he had such a headache because this is, truly there was about as I looked, I went, man, oh, this he's not in, he's not in, he's not in. But
Yeah,
you know, the way it, we gotta have our set of rules. We gotta follow. We got, you can't just make it a wild, wild west. And so I think honestly, so many guys in here. And I will say, shout out to shout out to Lefevre and Kraffel. Those two guys, they're in the infield spot, but I think I agree with them being there because, to be honest, leaving them off the all-state list would be an absolute atrocity, I think. So
yeah,
I think having them in there, their contributions, I think is rightfully so. But no, it gets pretty. What I have talked about is it can get pretty muddy. But man, uh, again, a lot of these guys have done great, and you know what? Highlight to Cam Jorgensen because 2 years ago he was barely a blip on the radar, and not only did he become the home run king in 3A, or I believe the state,
yeah,
but he also parked it out of a professional ballpark, and he had the swing down. He did what he needed to do. I mean, he was absolutely phenomenal. So I think he was well deserving of it. And the fact that you were in Silver Slugger and Home Run King, I think that does mean that because it's not guaranteed, right? It's
right.
it's never guaranteed that you get both of those. He had the most total bases in 3A, had the most home runs. So he was a very well-rounded player. So kudos to him. But yeah, 3A was an absolute blast.
Yeah, and before we go to 4A, 15 home runs is an elite territory. I mean, that hasn't been done in
Yeah.
Iowa in at least a handful. I remember I looked back, I don't remember the exact day, but it has been a while since a player has hit over 14 home runs in a year, and he's able to do that, obviously getting his 15th at the state tournament. That's a cool note there. Moving on to 4A. A lot more versatility here. Case and Claiborne taking home underclassmen of the year. That's a tough award to give
Yeah.
away in 4A. There was a lot of well-deserving guys there. Bryce Pauly wins the batting title. I mean, they're home run king. Buonadonna from Wash. I mean, a lot of big names here, Andrew. What kind of sticks out to you?
Well, man, going down the line, I will tell you this. When we started the season, I thought that there was a good chance that a Pleasant Valley pitcher might be getting Cy Young Award. Bo Collingwood, I've got to give him the biggest credit there because obviously we know there's several guys on that roster that could have earned that spot. He came and and again, yeah, like Dalton had a phenomenal year. I mean, everybody had a phenomenal year there, but Bo Collingwood continued it. Just like he's doing all right, doing pretty good. Look at this Collingwood guy, and he keeps on progressing. And he was probably the most consistent pitcher in the 4A field. So I think for me, that was what stood out right away. Yeah, I can't argue with that. It was not the guy that I initially thought was going to be the Cy Young, but he gets there. And you know what? Also, shout out to Bettendorf. They had the farthest travel, and they were one of the two teams that had the farthest travel and get to the state title game. You know, and honestly, they could have been very much an underseeded team. Just because they get in there, what they're able to do. They this year, I mean, they were still top 15 in several categories across 4A, and yet they get that 8 seed. So it is what it is, but ultimately, man, this was one where Tayton Gray, I truly believe, he gets the honor here for Silver Slugger, 100%. But man, you could have put that to about 15 different guys. That's how deep this field was.
Yeah, a lot of stars here in 4A, Andrew. But it's time now.
It's
It's
time.
time now. Mr. IA Baseball. It's time now. We're going to start with 1A. Your 4 finalists, we released this before the state tournament: Carson Maston, Linville Sully, Colin Homan, Remsen St. Mary's, Mason Beacon of North Lynn, and Cal Hayden of Coon Rapids Baird. And we're going to show it off right now. And it's Cal Hayden of Coon Rapids
LA.
Baird. Hard to argue. I think the two-way factor obviously went in here. I mean, Mr. IAbaseball seemingly being the MVP, so obviously having your hands on the game as much as possible is going to help you. And Cal
Mm-hmm.
did that for Coon Rapids, and I believe just a junior. I think he's back next year to help lead. I will confirm that quickly.
He's a junior, yep.
I'm 99% sure. Yeah. So as a junior, winning Mr. IAbaseball, he was a stud. Hit over 500. Led the team in basically everything innings pitched. He won the Cy Young in Class 1A. 105 Ks in 55 innings. I mean, it speaks for itself. Obviously, ended up a little bit short of the state tournament, but that doesn't dismiss the fact of how dominant this kid was start in, start out, all year long for a Coon Rapids Bear team that was top 5 seemingly all summer.
Oh man, and it was just unfortunate that we didn't get to see them go further. But man, Cal Hayden, by my account, one of the only guys in the class to be top 5 in triples, total bases, and home runs. And that's without mentioning the fact that he's also top 5 in strikeouts and of course also earned run average, which was absolutely stellar. And so it was really all around. And you're right, Mr. IAbaseball, in my estimation, is the MVP, the all around guy. And it's just in high school where so many guys go two ways, it means a lot, and the fact that he was able to stand above the rest, I think, really speaks volumes. And it's so great that we get to see him another year, because I can't wait to see what he does next year.
No doubt. Class 2A, your finalists were Cole Moore of Van Meter, JD Schneider of Spirit Lake, Braylon Bingham of Pleasantville, and Garrett Lutt of Underwood. And winning Class 2A, Mr. IAbaseball, is Garrett Lutt of Underwood. Another two-way star. I mean, he took home the two-way Cy Young too. He was a phenom for that offense. Kind of helped carry the way. We did a little checking on him. I think he's the second player since the 2010 season, or no, the third player since the 2010 season. There's been 2 others to finish a year above 602 or 600, according to the IHSA record book. We might have to go back on the bound era and check that, but hitting above 600 in any sort of high school baseball campaign is extremely impressive. Lutt gets that done, gets them to the state tournament. They fell in the semis. But nonetheless, an incredible year from Lutt, and boy, he's got multiple years left. I mean, that's a scary guy in Class 2A, and I'm sure he's going to be a headache for opponents still in the next few campaigns. Andrew.
Oh, it's good. And this guy just goes out and balls out. We know why Iowa went after him, and I mean, truly, there have only been around, and again, I got to make sure to check this later here, but just over 20 some guys that have ever ended a single season at over 600, and he was getting close to etching himself in the all-time history book there, because of what he was getting to do, because of all that. And he just was methodical, constantly doing that. I mean, at one point he was hitting 800. Like this is a guy that was making the most of every opportunity he was given. So honestly, I think it was well deserved. I think he honestly earned them. There's no way you can deny what he was able to do. So, yeah, I think it was an absolute great season for him, and hard to argue. I mean, he again, I believe that he has a chance to go multiple years. This is that kind of guy.
Right. Yeah. His name's going to be all over the career record book in a few years when his years wrap up at Underwood. Moving on to 3A, tough one here. Your finalists: Cam Jorgensen of Sadell, Drew Owen of North Polk, Brooks McCarty of MOC Floyd Valley, and Tate Slagle of Algona. Tough Final Four there, but the 3A Mr. IAbaseball winner goes to Mr. Slagle of Algona. Tough call here because, boy, I mean, Drew Owen is a stud. McCarty's a stud. Jorgensen, obviously, most home runs in how many years in Iowa. but hard to argue with Mr. Slagle of Algona. 115 strikeouts in 47 innings, Andrew. I got a chance to see a start, and it is that. Like it is that. It's hard to believe. 50 hits for him offensively. I mean, he was doing it all. Algona obviously ending up a little short of the state tournament, but nonetheless, Tate Slagle, your Class 3A Mr. IA Baseball winner of the year.
Yeah, I mean, and he also was a guy that was very consistent. He right after the second week of the right around the second week of the season, he held on to that batting average title, and it kind of went back and forth a little bit with Brooks McCarty, but he never dipped below top four, I believe, the entire season. He also ended up with the 10 home runs, so hard to argue really what he was doing there. And he again, you mentioned his strikeout count. He was very effective with that. He just did what he needed to do. And again, he did both ways and he excelled at it. I think that again, all four of those guys, I will say Drew Owen, you know what? I would not have been upset if he got it because he was very well deserving. Everyone was as well, but I never seen a guy from the outfield throw it as perfect as he does. And he was kind of he could be a one man wrecking group for any team. I mean, really any team out there. And so you got to give a lot of credit to what he was doing. Like you said, Jorgensen, you'd have to go back, I believe, to that home run race that Iowa had way back when, right? You'd have to go back to the big home run race to find out guys who really hit as much as he has. So, and then of course Brooks McCarty has been just he's like not human the way he's been playing. But I do believe that Slagle again. I wish I would have seen him further on in the postseason, but he was just a hard out every single time. So rightfully deserving of it.
No doubt. And wrapping up our show for today, Class 4A, Mr. IA Baseball, your finalists were Wrigley Mathis of Bettendorf, Jack Steeler of Sioux City East, Tayton Gray of Dallas Center Grimes, and Alex Williams of Southeast Polk. 4 good names there. Your winner in Class 4A is Tayton Gray of DCG. Hard to argue here, considering what he did in just his 27 games. I mean, he's still just absolutely mashed in that time. He was lights out behind the plate. Obviously, getting picked in the Major League Draft and heading to Tampa Bay. Huge, great story out of Iowa, Andrew. I mean, I've gotten to cover Tayton through a handful of games. I think he's gone yard in every single game I've gone to over his last few years, which is crazy. But ton of fun to watch. Great kid, and I mean, the stats don't lie. This was the best baseball player in the state of Iowa this year.
Yeah, I mean, hands down, and that's not to take anything away from everybody else. A lot of guys that did a lot of things, but again, you mentioned just 27 games. He still drew 31 walks and was able to put up the best slugging percentage out of anybody in Class 4A. He was able to put up again a top 10 number 2 mark in home runs with 12, and he was top 3 in batting average. And so he did all of that with less games, and he had, again, over 30 walks. So it's hard when you have that kind of scenario. You think, man, because honestly, you had Noah Davies in 3A have a ton of walks, not able to get the hits opportunities. Tayton Gray, in arguably a tougher pitching scenario, is able to do that and beyond. So I mean, the fact that he was able to do that for me, and of course, the 4A ranker solidified in my mind why he is, again, Mr. IA Baseball. I believe it to my core that, you do as much with little games. And again, it's not like he had 10 games and his stats are ballooned, right? I mean, he went through the regular season with it. So I think it's very much credited. It's very much valid, and I don't think there's any way to argue it.
Yeah, only missing what looks like 4 games on DCG's schedule, and considering he was at the MLB Draft Combine, that's extremely impressive, and you could tell that the playing for DCG mattered a lot to him, which is cool. But I mean, the stat that stands out to me quickly before we get on, 34 hits, Andrew, and 22 of them went for extra bases. I mean, that guy
Yeah.
that guy was not a singles machine. I mean, he was hitting home runs, doubles, triples. It didn't matter. And yeah, he nearly walked as many times as he got a hit, which is impressive in itself. But that wraps up Mr. IA Baseball. And that kind of wraps us up for a year, Andrew, which is a little sad. We're still gonna have content. Like, we're not going away. We still got off season stuff to follow and whatnot. But no doubt the page is kind of closing on IA Baseball. I think this is IA Baseball's like year 7, 8-ish officially. I don't know, somewhere along those lines. But I mean, we appreciate everyone helping bring IA Baseball to the next level. I mean, we had 26 million views on Instagram this year, which is pretty cool, and it wouldn't be without you guys. And I know Andrew's going to talk here too, but we just appreciate everyone for supporting us and joining us for the ride. And I mean, we do it for the kids, man. These kids deserve as much coverage as they can possibly get, and that's what we did all summer. So we appreciate everyone for tuning in. And for me, I'm excited for next year already. I mean, I'm counting down the days till opening day already, so I'm excited. But I'll hand it off to Andrew since he's the IA baseball guy. I'm excited to see what he's got to say.
Oh man, well, I'm echoing a lot of what you said, but yeah, the fact that we had a lot of following on Instagram, but even beyond that, the amount of people who collaborate with us, right? I mean, over 200, and which is huge, and the fact that we put out there that we want it has to be clean, right? We're not bashing anybody, we're putting out great content. I think it shows that yeah, there's a lot of great photographers, a lot of great video guys out there, a lot of great designers out there that with just really creative minds. And we always want to collaborate. We always want to, again, to highlight the guys, the players, the coaches, even the umpires that make this game possible. Because I highlighted every single one of those categories, and I thought it was really cool. You know what? We had a guy in the state football tournament come around, help his dad on the umpiring crew. And it's like that was really cool to see. And the fact that it's just the fact that we got to connect and collaborate with them. We got to do that with, again, over 200 different people. I think it means a lot, and it just shows that the baseball in the state is very healthy, and it's going a long ways. And so you just got to give as much highlight to them as well. And that's, again, what we're all about. We want to be holistic, so we want to reach out to as many people. And so that's where we're going with this. And, you know, and then shout out to our rankers who are, former coaches, former guys who have been in media covering this sport for years now, at least 5 years minimum for everybody. And there's just a lot of guys who have put a lot of time into this. And we reach out to coaches, we reach out to players, we reach out to all those. And I think the fact that our rankers have gone above and beyond, I think just stands why we are, I believe, and I'm going to toot our own horn here, one of the best in terms of rankings, in terms of just coverage in the state. So I think that again, you got guys that are very passionate about it. So I know that Cade and I are on here talking a lot, but the guys that are rankers, that again, those who collaborate with us, you very much are a big part of this as well. So I had to make sure that we give as much shout out to everybody who connects with us as well. But
No doubt.
this was a fun season. I really enjoyed it.
No, yeah, Andrew, you streamed 28 games this year. We went through and counted them all. That is a ton. Well, and you're gonna get 6 more from the All Star series. I mean, that might be a record of some case for you. I mean, the streams are great. We're on site. I mean, I think between you, me, and Eric, we're at 102 total games this year, which is pretty cool to think about, including the state tournament. So we're doing what we can to get out there. And I mean, as next year comes along, whatever stories there are, let us know. We want to find a way to cover it, whether it's a stream or a video or whatever it is. So yeah, I mean, it was a ton of fun this year, and we're only getting started. I mean, we thought it's just only going to get bigger and bigger, and it's thanks to you guys as a sport. So I'll let Andrew sign us off, but we appreciate everyone for joining us for IA Baseball in the year 2025.
2025 was an absolute epic season. Appreciate everyone for joining us. As always, have fun out there enjoy it. You know what? Put the work in. Enjoy the off season, or if you're getting right into it with football, enjoy that as well. Here, I know that iFootball's got a lot of great coverage coming your way. But you know what? We'll sign it off the way we normally do, and until we see each other next time, whether at the All Star Series or next season, stay safe on the base paths, guys. Thanks again.